Go ahead, buddy.
All right. Hey, John. I just want to say I've been following you since the Simple Programmer days as kind of like a shadow viewer or whatever. So pretty cool to finally see you in here. But my question was, I know you did software development in the past. So currently for work, I do cybersecurity, like on the offensive side. But I do a lot of coding in my free time, and my goal eventually is to work for myself. Essentially, I'm looking into sort of like software as a service, like developing something like that. But right now, and before I get to that point, I was thinking about doing some freelance, like web development and stuff like that, just to get some more experience. Like I know that like freelancing is like not a good time for dollar trade, but I was just thinking maybe to get myself some more experience and get a little bit level up in coding a bit, and then try to create some software. What is your take on that? I was wondering.
Okay, yeah. So I'll start kind of at a higher level, the way I think of businesses and so the way I think of businesses in general is that everything has a role, right? A job, or whether you do things yourself or not, there are distinct job responsibilities and roles, right? So just for an instance, right? A lot of my business is run online, right? I mean, they run online, so I have websites, right? Now, I'm a software developer by trade, right? I can write in many different programming languages. I taught software development on Pluralsight, many courses, right? Yet, if you go to my websites, they run on WordPress, right? And, real software developers, they don't like WordPress. They're like, PHP and WordPress. Why don't you just code up your own website? And the reason why is because I'm a business owner. I am the person that and through my business, I create the content. I create the YouTube videos. I create the content that gets put on the pages, that gets marketed, and I create some of the marketing material. That's my role and my responsibility. So even though I have the capability to code, I don't touch it, and I don't want it to be in a language that I would mess with, because I'll hire someone or I'll use the software off the shelf. Or if I do need some WordPress work, I don't do it. I could mess with the PHP probably better than the people that I hire, but I hire someone specifically to do that. Now, the reason why I'm starting it from that level is because I want you to separate those things out in your head, because a lot of people that are starting out trying to start a business, they think that whatever they're doing, that's what they should do as a business. And if you're trying to build a SaaS company, right, the only advantage of you coding the SaaS is that you don't have to pay someone else to do it, right? So that's really so you got to think about it, but you're essentially paying yourself, because you're still going to pay that role. You're still going to pay someone that you're going to spend that time. So wherever you spend the time, you should always spend your time at the most profitable place at any given time, right? Especially in a business, right? So again, if we go back to my example, the most profitable place for me to spend my time is creating content, is setting the direction of the company, is hiring people, is giving direction and delegating. That's where I make $10,000 an hour, type of work. So I spend my time there, not coding, not fixing a website, not fixing even titles on YouTube videos and any of that stuff, or uploading them. Like I don't do any of that stuff, or editing them. So again, the reason why I'm saying this is because not to say that you shouldn't necessarily build your own SaaS application, but if you don't have the skills to build the SaaS application now, don't go and then do freelancing to do web development in order to develop the skills, in order to then go back and then develop the SaaS application. What I would say is, if it's not your wheelhouse, but you're interested in development, you do some programming, do the cybersecurity, do consulting in cybersecurity, make a bunch of money as a freelancer doing cybersecurity, where you're going to make a lot of it. Because if you go freelancing on web development right now, being a newbie, you're not going to make more than $10 an hour. Okay, you'll learn some stuff, sure, and then maybe you can build your SaaS app. But if you go and freelance now as a cybersecurity expert, maybe you can make 100, maybe 150, maybe $200 an hour, or maybe you can build a business around that, and then you can funnel that money to a developer in India that you're going to pay $20 an hour to develop your SaaS application, and you come up with a plan. And the other advantage of that is, with building a business and building a company, the biggest challenge is not coding it, right? I deal with a lot of developers, and most developers think, okay, if I build a really good product, I'll make a lot of money, and they consider that to be the criteria for success. That's the lowest thing on the criteria for success. You could literally build the shittiest product in the world, but if you have excellent reach and you have excellent marketing, you'll make a shit ton of money. Now, when you deliver a shitty product, people will refund it and you'll have complaints and you'll get bad word of mouth. And yeah, so don't deliver a shitty product. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that's the least important thing in business. So don't, spend all your effort, focus on the least important thing. Instead, see where you can make the most money, where you're the most valuable. And then if you can hire someone, if you can arbitrage that time, if you can make $50, $100 an hour somewhere, and then take half of that pay and pay a developer to actually build the application, and you're spending your time doing the more valuable thing of directing it and building the idea of it, that's probably going to be more valuable. Now, if you're already a developer and you're already like a senior developer, I'd be giving you slightly different advice. I'd be like, yeah, sure, go ahead and build it yourself, because it would make more sense. But in this case, that would be the advice I would give you.
Okay. Yeah. I guess in my head, I was thinking that like in the beginning, you would need to do some more things on your own when you don't have as many resources and don't have as much. But
yeah,
I guess that was the lines along which I was thinking. But
also think of like where you're going to be. Like, again, I'm giving you this advice from someone who's made mistakes, right? But think of where you're going to be in 5 years from now. Like if you start the company, you're not going to be the one coding. So investing in that role is not the best thing. Like if you have to and you have to bootstrap it and there can be some value to it. Like I said, if you already have the skill set, but you want to be like, if you want to scale a company and build an actual real big company, you can't be the one coding it. Like you know what I mean? Like you can work for a company and be the one coding it, but you can't build a big company being the one coding it. And at some point you're going to want to build a big company. I say this because I know it. And I did a lot of things with my businesses early on that made it unscalable or difficult to scale that I had to figure out later on. But now if I was starting a business fresh from now on, I would want to make myself as least involved in the day-to-day operations of the actual production of the product as possible and make my job in the business the overarching as much as possible. And again, I know when you're starting out, you got to do all the work because you don't have the budget to hire people. But if you can do a regular job and take the money and then spend that money to hire people, then that would be a better solution. So.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Awesome. You're on point there, John. I love it. Okay. Go ahead.